welcome back to Clocked Out Podcast. We're your hosts, Stick, Avery, and McCall. Welcome back to episode 5. We're in episode 5 now of Clocked Out Podcast. Got a good one coming for you, but we did want to start out by saying our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Florida with that incoming hurricane. A lot of things aren't looking too great right now. Hopefully once it makes landfall, it's a lot less severe than what they're saying. So just thinking about everyone in Florida, because all three of us love to visit us some Florida beaches. So
yeah,
absolutely. It's scary.
I can't imagine.
Lots of destruction already, so.
No, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're not even cleaned up from the last hurricane, and then this one's coming in. Wham,
A
bam,
lot of people
bam,
haven't
bam.
even made it back to look at the damage from the first hurricane.
Right. I do follow this influencer on Instagram too. I think, McCall, you probably know him. Dale and Caden Kearns.
I know them.
Oh, you know him, Ave?
Yep.
She's literally 4 days postpartum and they had to evacuate.
Oh my gosh.
She just had their second baby.
Ugh.
I was thinking about, I saw a girl post a Instagram reel. I don't follow her normally, but it popped up and she's due in a week. And she was like answering questions because people must have been like DMing her and asking her why she's not evacuating. And she's like, I can't fly. I'm too close to like being due. She's like, I can't fly. I'm afraid I'm going to go into labor. But how I'm thinking about it is if you go into labor there's probably no, I mean, are the
How are you going to get to the hospital if there's
yeah,
flooding?
right. Like, I don't know.
I would go
That
to a
would be-
different state and be by a different hospital.
Right. I would drive somewhere.
Yeah.
I was going to say I would drive for sure. At least inland Florida even.
Right.
Well, even inland Florida, though, like the whole middle section of Florida is going to get it. Like even Orlando is sounding bad. And that's like closer to the other side.
Yeah.
I think you need to
like,
go
upstate
north.
Florida.
Yeah, north.
Yeah.
And I'd almost rather like be in Dale's situation where I've already had the baby
Yes.
and I can just pack up and go. Like you don't have to worry about, can I get to a hospital or what hospital can I even get to? That type of thing. But I mean, it still sucks. She had to load up a newborn, her toddler, 2 dogs, and
All
like
the
her family, and it's just wild. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't either. Definitely prayers go out to everybody there, and hopefully they can, everybody's safe and can evacuate. And when they get back, I mean, honestly, I would say praying for a quick insurance claim, but with everybody who's going to be filing them, I don't think that's going to be the situation.
Yeah, they're probably going to be a little backed up.
Yeah.
Which also sucks because it's going to take people a long time to rebuild.
Yeah. Those areas even, I mean, they're hot vacation spots too. Like, obviously that's so annoying of me to say, but it's going to be hard for those areas and small business owners to rebuild.
It's also how a lot of those towns thrive is from people visiting and how they make their money.
Yeah.
So it's all just really sad. And I hope Florida is A-okay because I love going there. So
me too.
Which sounds naive of me to say because it's not like I'm someone that has a home there.
What do you mean, Stick? You're like, I just want to be able to vacation there.
I know. That sounds bad. Like, please, I just want to go to vacation. But
just trying to get some sun.
Yeah, I need a little sunburn.
Oh boy. All right, let's hop into today's topic. Why don't we?
Okay.
Why don't we?
Go ahead, Mole. If anyone doesn't know, Mole is McCall.
Yeah, we should probably clear that up. Clear the air there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say Mole in the beginning or in the
No, you
Oh,
said McCall. Yeah.
Wow.
But like we said last time, it does seem weird, but
but it just flows for us. So I mean, eventually it'll flow for everyone that listens that doesn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So like your Instagram handle is Mole, like mine is Stick.
Mole. True. True. All right. Today's episode is going to be about Stick's health journey and kind of how she decided to start this new chapter in her life and what kind of brought her to that point. So, Stick, did you want to kind of give us a background on, what what your relationship was with specific things that you cut out in your life prior to this, I guess, or like what kind of started you down this path?
Yeah, so it was probably, oh gosh, last October, late September, last October. Um, I just kind of started feeling like really off. Like, you know your own body when something doesn't feel right. Like I was exhausted 24/7. I was groggy, like I couldn't focus. Like I had my stomach issues were all-time high, and even my endo flare-ups were almost every other day. Um, so I'd went and gotten some blood work done, and I had found out I was pre-diabetic and weighing in at a whopping 230 pounds, which almost, I don't know, I didn't like immediately send me into I need to make changes right in that moment. I was more so in shock and kind of denial that because everything I had done prior and every decision I made led me to that point. Like, no one was forcing feeding me, no one was making me drink alcohol, like, it was on me. So for a while, I did kinda deal with that denial and the fact that this was solely on me, like, I did this.
So would you say like initially after that doctor's appointment where you were so sorry, were you saying that you were pre-diabetic or you were diabetic?
Pre-diabetic. I was
Pre-diabetic.
pre-diabetic, yes.
So would you say like that flip switched right after that doctor's appointment or kind of what you're saying you were in denial for a little while and it took you some time?
Yeah, it was probably a couple weeks to almost a month. It took me to realize, like, I need to get my fucking shit together. Um, a big turning point for me is when I was in one of our good friends' wedding last September, and she got her pictures back, and I saw myself, and that's when it kinda dawned on me, like, "Bitch, you do weigh that much, like, you do have these issues, and you do need to do something about it."
Yeah.
Like, it was just one of those things that it snuck up on me. Like, I
Right.
didn't realize what I was doing until it kinda slapped me in the face, and I was
Wake
like,
up, like
yeah,
this is
wake up.
real.
Yes.
So then that would be kind of like your turning point then was when you got those pictures back and you could actually kind of put uh like a visual to it. Like sometimes I think it's a little
Yes.
different when you wake up every morning and you're getting dressed and you're looking in the mirror. Like it's
Mhm.
just not as like even for every like any woman I can say like when I wake up in the morning I put on my clothes, yeah, they might feel a little snug, but I really don't realize I'm gaining weight until I do take a photo or one of my friends posts like something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when you're
Yes.
like, "Holy shit,
And I mean, at the
this
time,
is real."
I wasn't in a good place with my self-image of what I just obviously I didn't have a good perspective of myself at the time, but I didn't realize it was that bad.
And do you think that maybe you didn't realize it was that bad because like you said you didn't have good self-image, so maybe you weren't trying to pay attention to it, like you weren't maybe
Yes.
looking at yourself in the mirror all the time or
Yes.
look taking photos or looking at photos, like just kind of
Mhm.
shoving that kind of stuff away?
Yeah, like, I wasn't like, "Oh, let's take a photo," or if I was in a photo, I would be like, "Oh, put me in the back," or "Someone
Right.
stand halfway in front of me," so I don't
Yeah.
so then you see the photo, you don't see your full self and realize the damage you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say too, like being around stick consistently every day for like the past lots of days. I, I didn't notice it either. Like, like I mean, like I would like I wasn't like, "Oh, you look unhealthy, you're being unhealthy." But then like
Mhm.
in retrospect, like when you showed me those photos from that wedding cuz you're like, "No, Avery, look at these. Look at
Yeah.
really look at these." And I was like,
Uh-huh.
so bizarre cuz I didn't see it like that back then.
Yeah. And I am someone too that, like, I don't gain weight in one certain spot.
Uh-huh.
Like, I do gain weight everywhere. Like, it's not just my stomach, it's not just my arms, like, it's my
Right.
arms, my stomach, my legs, like, my face. Like, it's just everywhere. So it's not I feel like when I do start to gain weight, it's not obvious
Right.
because it is distributed through my whole body.
Uh-huh.
I'm not like, "Oh, my gut's getting larger and my legs are still skinny or my arms are huge," and, you know?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not like me and Avery were talking about this the other day, like just with our genetics, like when we gain weight like in our stomach and in our face and in our
Mm-hmm.
chest. You know what I
My
mean?
arms, my whole
It,
upper body.
Yeah.
Looking like Gru out here from Despicable Me.
Yes, Despicable Me.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Real top heavy. Hit me over, I'll roll. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah, definitely. So, Stick, once you kind of came to that realization or you were like, "Oh shit, I got to get my life together." What were those first steps for you, or in that moment did you automatically know like exactly what you wanted to do, or what kind of like how did you build that process of what your goals were and how you were going to like obtain those, I guess?
Yeah, so I think my first move was obviously to get my diet in check. Because being pre-diabetic, I obviously wanted to reverse that. Um, and it's not like I was eating horrible, but when I was drinking, like it would be we leave the bar at 1 a.m. I come home and I make myself food, or we go to McDonald's and I eat astronomical number of calories at 2 in the morning, and it obviously took a toll. So I really wanted to get my diet in check because I mean, everything's like 80/20. Like it's 80% your diet, 20% exercise. So I knew if I got my diet in check, everything else would flow. Um, but I didn't start out I didn't quit drinking or cutting out alcohol right away. Um, that was something I had thought about for a couple months just because of being pre-diabetic and also having endometriosis that literally just feeds it. So, um, it was on New Year's Eve actually. We were at a party and we were cheersing at midnight. And we cheers and I sat my drink down and I literally just looked at Dylan and I was like, "I'm done drinking." 'Cause when you like
Wow.
I felt like at that party I was drinking just because everyone else was,
Yeah.
and like I was forcing
Mhm.
myself to drink to have a good time, but I felt like shit the entire time.
Ugh. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I just sat my drink down and I told him, I said, "I'm fucking done drinking." And he just said, "Okay."
So then it was like so in the beginning you were just really like I'm going to focus on my
Mhm.
diet, and then at that point you were like I'm going to now cut out alcohol, which kind of like what you said before, and I think all of us can speak to that, is like alcohol is when like I mean for me at least, like yeah, when I'm drinking alcohol, then most of the time I'm going out after and I'm eating
Mhm.
food and I'm consuming those calories. So like it's another outlet of like maybe the alcohol itself isn't like where all the calories are coming in, but you're enduring all those calories because you're drunk and you're
Right.
eating
And it like
McDonald's or you're
ramped up
eating pizza,
alcohol
frozen
always
pizza.
ramped up my appetite.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
after a night of drinking,
Same.
I was a bottomless pit. I could eat anything.
Yeah, and you're eating anything, and honestly, sometimes I just eat whatever I can eat to feel better because I know I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw up,
Yeah.
you know?
Get something in the old stomach.
Yeah. Okay, so then New Year's rolls around and you're like, "You know what? I'm cutting out alcohol." Did you from that point on, you haven't drank alcohol,
Mm-mm.
or did you so from that night on, you haven't picked up
No.
alcohol? What would you say, like obviously you've been in settings where alcohol has been present since. So how have you kind of like managed in those settings and like restrained from drinking
I
alcohol?
mean, at the beginning, it was hard, but at the same time, I think because I had such a good support system around me, like my friends and family, like they were aligned with what I wanted and they fully supported that. Like no one was like, "Oh, Stick, you're not drinking. That's lame." Or, "You Stick, have a beer. Come on." Like there was none of that. There was like always like my friends like, "Oh, we can make this mocktail or we can do this or we can have this kind of drink." It was never anyone trying to sway me differently of what I wanted. And I remember texting Avery, um, Morgan and Holly at one point, and I was like, when I first started, and I was like, I'm gonna stop drinking, like, and I'm gonna do it until my 30th birthday in March. And I think I texted them this in January.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go 3 months till my 30th and just cut back and not drink. And then my 30th birthday rolled around, and I had zero interest in drinking. So I was like, let's just keep this thing rolling. And
Mhm.
Yeah, because we went to Florida in April,
mhm.
and you had decided to keep it up, and like, why not? If you're on a good roll and you don't feel the need, why reintroduce it, you know?
Right. Yeah. And so I think that that kind of helped in the like being in a social setting as having a good support system and too like I had a lot that I needed to work on physically and mentally with my health. And so that was always weighing in the back of
Mm-hmm.
my mind like if I just stick this out, like there's going to be a lot of benefits. I'm like I can't like in my mind I was like I can't become diabetic. Like that's all I thought about. I was like the
Yeah.
like just like the maintenance alone and the upkeep of always checking my blood sugar and eating certain things and not eating certain things just always
Mm-hmm.
like really freaked me out.
And the
So,
danger to your
Yeah.
overall health from becoming diabetic too, like how that
right.
affects all of your organs,
Mhm.
um, especially at such
Yeah.
a young age, you know?
Yes.
Well, and I also think like it's going to be a diet change if you had diabetes. It's either you make a diet change because you have diabetes or you make the change now and you might not have to make the diet change because of diabetes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like either way there would have had to have been a change. Like so yeah, to your point, like definitely that would give me enough drive to be like I would rather make it my like make the change on my own and at my own
Mhm.
choice than have a doctor telling me like you said for the rest of my life, you know, you're going to have to monitor all of these things. And like Avery said, is it can eventually affect other it can cause
I
different
mean,
health
you can
things.
go
So,
blind from diabetes.
Yeah, you can
Use
lose
your lip.
limbs like
Yeah.
infections, everything like
yeah.
if you're not properly taking
Mhm.
care of yourself, which is a lot of work
It is a
when
lot
you're
of work.
diabetic. So,
Mhm.
I was really just had to put the brakes on and get my shit together.
So then I would say, I mean, you're kind of lucky. Like I know a lot of people that not lucky because of that, but I'm saying like lucky that you have a good support system
Oh yeah.
around you that didn't kind of try and pressure you into drinking because obviously like, you know, before we talked about in our previous episode, like a lot we like to have drinks, we like to go out, we like to have a good
Mhm.
time, and I feel like you're always a good time whether you're drunk or you're sober, but I can say in our history of drinking together like yeah, you were always my friend that I wanted to drink with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just surprised that you don't have anybody that was like, "Come on, stick," like, you know,
Yeah.
but that was pressuring you, but that's because they're
Yeah.
good
Well,
friends.
also,
Yeah.
I would just like to throw in here too, like Stick and I, we did some drinking in our day,
We
and
did
I
some
think,
drinking.
yeah, oh yeah, and I think once you start to age out of it, like it's not a priority anymore. We don't have to drink to
No.
have a good time, and you know what? Like sometimes it'll be Morgan, Stick, Holly, and I, and all three of us might have, this before I got pregnant, but we might have
Sure.
we might have like a martini or a beer with our dinner or whatever, but like we're never like, oh, Stick, don't you just want to have one? Like, because that's
Right.
God,
Mhm.
no.
And on the other side of things too, like I'm not someone that doesn't drink that's like trying to pressure my friends and tell my friends that they should stop drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like be like, "We need to go home." Like,
Yes.
"We need to go home." Like, you know, like but you're not like you're somebody who can still vibe whether you're
Yes. I
drinking or
actually had
not.
someone a couple weeks ago at a birthday party tell me that I was the funnest one there and I wasn't even drinking. And I was like, that's a really cool compliment
Yeah.
because I'm a sober
Yeah.
bird right now and I'm just having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And then so obviously you cut out the drinking, you changed your diet and kind of what you were eating. Is there anything else like any workouts that you were doing? Were you back in the gym? Did you start with walking? Like what did that kind of look like?
So before I was doing like pretty intense CrossFit and I really
Mhm.
wasn't seeing the results, obviously because of my habits and everything else that I was doing outside of the gym. No one would
Mhm.
see results with what I was doing, but um, I also think too that like CrossFit is obviously a great workout, and I think it's for certain people. It's not for everyone. Um, and I think I just got in this mindset like, oh, I have to do CrossFit. Like, this is the only thing for me. Like, there's a local gym. Like, I have to go here. I have to do this. Um, and I just
Mhm.
came to the realization that like high impact workouts are just not good for my body. Like, I don't
Yeah.
recover well from them. And so I actually switched over to Pilates, and we do have a Pilates studio in our town now. So that's convenient again. But it's just such a more low impact, like but it's a great workout. Like I feel like I've seen a lot more results from doing Pilates versus
Mhm.
CrossFit.
Well, and I think it kinda goes with, like, what are you trying to achieve,
Right.
like,
Right. I'm not trying to
image-wise.
be the strongest girl in the room. Like I just want to
Yeah.
be in shape and happy with what I see in the mirror, regardless
Mhm.
if my biceps are showing or not. Like,
If you can squat
yeah,
or
I'm
deadlift a certain
at
amount of
one
weight.
point I was like, "Oh, I have to squat this, like I have to clean this, I have to bench this weight, like I want to do this." But now I'm just like, I want a good stretch, I want some good core work, like I just want
Yeah.
to like lay down half of my workout, like
Yeah.
nothing wild. Like and
Yeah.
I don't
N
have that pressure on myself and my body anymore that I felt like I was doing when I was in CrossFit.
Yeah. So it's almost like you shed, not saying CrossFit's a great workout for anybody that's listening that does
Oh.
CrossFit. Like Stick said, choose what's best for you and your
Mhm.
body. But I will say, like, it sounds like then you kind of shed a lot of different things. You stopped the drinking alcohol, you stopped, which then in turn stopped the binge eating late at
Mhm.
night, which in turn, I'm guessing that you feel more rested. You probably have a better routine. Um, and then you kind of shed the CrossFit because that wasn't working for you, and it sounds like you found something that
Yeah,
does.
and I think there there was a lot more things that came with being sober. And I also cut out caffeine too
I was
because
gonna say that. I was like, that you gave up that too, and that for me would be way harder.
yeah. I went cold turkey because
Yeah.
I was drinking like the largest sweet bean coffee you can get every single day. And
Mhm.
then I was dry scooping pre-workout before I went to CrossFit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
I told Caleb today that I was gonna, after our conversation about just endo and like what feeds into it, I told him that I was gonna cut back. We don't drink a lot anyways. We drink like maybe at one day on the
Mhm.
weekend, but I was like, I think my vice is like caffeine, and I was like, I think I might cut out caffeine and see if that kind of helps. And Caleb told me, good luck. like, yeah, I'll believe it when
You
I see
could
it, kind of thing.
even
Because
start with half, like
Yeah,
cutting out half.
you don't have to do
yeah,
cold turkey like I did. I
I
just knew
probably
yeah,
couldn't.
that's
I would
wild.
I
get massive headaches. I would be sick.
well, I did for 2 weeks. I was like
Mhm.
I thought my head was gonna pop off, but I also know my type of personality that if I didn't cut it out
Mhm.
completely, I
Uh,
would just continue every habit I was already doing.
you're an all or nothing gal,
Yeah. So I was like cold turkey
or
Mhm.
nothing.
or nothing,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wow. So you stopped alcohol and caffeine at the same
Yeah,
time, yeah.
Mhm.
both on
So what did you kind of replace that with? Like, obviously, I feel like getting a coffee for me is like a routine. Like, I
mhm.
wake up, I have my coffee, that's like me time. And that's the hardest thing for me. Like, I don't think it's actually the coffee. Like, I could give up the coffee, but I'd have to replace it with something else. Like, that's my
Mhm.
routine, that's my schedule. And so, like, what did you have to do
Yeah,
that or
so
no? Were you
I'm a
able to
big
just give it up?
smoothie gal now. I make a smoothie every single morning. Um, that's
Mm.
just my go-to. Because I am kinda like the same, like, I like to wake up and make myself a drink. Like, not an alcoholic drink, but, like, when you wake up and just have a fresh cup of coffee. Like,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
have a slow morning and sit around and drink your coffee. Like
Mm.
that I like that
Yeah.
vibe, so I just make a smoothie every morning now.
Okay. That I mean that makes sense. I
Yeah.
because I'm just thinking like obviously with being on my second pregnancy, I've been obviously sober without alcohol for at least 9 months,
Are you
before.
sure?
I've done that.
Are you sure your doctor said you can have a
Oh, I
glass?
I don't I don't even desire that. But they recommend like you cut back on caffeine to 200 milligrams a day, and that even like that's what's been hard for me. The alcohol, I'm like, I could like honestly, it doesn't bother me that much. It's
Mhm.
way more like the caffeine restriction. Hate to
Yeah.
say that, but
And
Mhm.
I don't get me wrong, like, I love especially in the fall, a good
yeah.
pumpkin spice latte.
But you can
Oh.
get
Oof. I
decaf.
could go for
You
one
can
right
get
Yeah, and
now.
I think I've gotten decaf a couple times now, but
yeah.
I don't even finish it and I get a grande. And I'm like, "What's the
Yeah, and
point?"
then you think about it, like, the calories of it
No.
aren't worth it to me if I'm not getting
Yeah.
the
So I was like,
caffeine.
"What's the point? I can't even finish a decaf at this point." So
Yeah.
but the first, like,
Yeah.
12 sips, I'm like, "Wow,
I
this is great."
genuinely like the taste of coffee though, like
Yeah.
any coffee. So
Me too,
decaf,
yeah.
I would still drink decaf. Um,
Mhm.
Oh,
And
like,
I
yeah.
did, like, in January when I gave up both, I I was still having decaf probably 2, 3 times a week
Yeah. Okay.
just to, because I'm like you, I just like the taste of coffee.
Yeah, I do. I genuinely like I
Mhm.
drink my coffee black. Like a lot of if I don't get it at Starbucks, I have it black from home.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
I can't I can. I just choose not to go without. We do
That's
have some
okay too,
decaf
baby.
here. I mean, sometimes I do drink decaf, like if I've gotten to that 200 milligrams for my day and I still am
Mhm.
craving like a cup of coffee. Or I have decaf tea too, because I drink hot
Oh,
tea.
yeah.
I really like
I
hot
Mhm.
teas. And
Mhm. There's a lot of good decaf teas out there.
yeah, actually I feel like I really enjoy those almost more than my decaf coffee. So
Yeah. I do love tea. I'm a
Mhm.
big tea gal.
yeah.
See, I'm a coffee gal in the morning, like, I'll do a decaf coffee, but yeah, I agree. If I'm doing decaf, most of the time it's
Mhm.
black. And at night, I'm a
Yeah.
tea gal.
Mhm.
Like, give me the no caffeine sleepy
With some
teas
Give me the
honey.
tea.
all day.
Give me the tea.
Yeah, so do you feel like obviously you said you planned on starting to drink again like on your 30th birthday, but you had no interest. So do you foresee yourself ever having a drink again, or you're just going to ride it out, and then if you feel like no pressure on yourself, and if you feel like you're going to have another drink, like you will, but until you hit that point, like you're just not going to have a time limit on it.
So initially I told myself I wanted to go 1 full year of no alcohol or caffeine, in which I'm over 10 months now. And at this point, I have 0 desire to drink again. It's just, I don't know, my sobriety has kinda completely shifted a lot of things for me, and I feel like if I implemented any of it back into my life, like, before, like, I wasn't someone that could just go to dinner and have a glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine, like, it was always
All or nothing.
all or nothing, like, I either had nothing or I had 12 Captain and Cokes, like, there was
Yeah.
simply no in between for me, and I don't even wanna risk bringing that back into my life,
I
so.
don't blame you one bit, and I would encourage you not to. And I think that I've seen a lot of growth in you since you stopped drinking.
Mhm. Like, I feel like I have deeper connections with my friends and family and with Dylan, and, like, I can have hard conversations.
Mhm.
Like, I don't
Mhm.
before, Avery, I would just hide, I wouldn't talk about it. Like,
Avoid. Yeah,
I
it
would
was like
avoid
avoid things.
I would avoid conflict
And
at all costs.
I might
Mhm.
be wrong, but like I feel like sometimes you were drinking to like cover those things, like those things you didn't want to
Yes.
talk about, bury it down, pretend it wasn't happening. So it was almost like
Yeah.
a, it wasn't even sometimes like a drink to have fun. It was like you thought you had a drink to like be social and be fun. Like that's
Yes,
like,
and I thought, and I've always, like, if we would get ready to go out and I didn't like the way I looked, I'd be like, "Ah, I'll just have, like, 4 drinks and then I'll like the way I look in the mirror."
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, "What the
Mhm.
fuck?"
Yeah.
Which we've all been guilty of saying
Yeah.
that, but like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
like, I would drink to have confidence, or I would drink
Yes.
to think I was more social if I was drunk.
Yeah. And I think I
Yeah.
realized that that was more an issue, I feel like, in our younger years. I feel like as you got
Mhm.
older, you kind of phased out of that anyway. But
Yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
like now I mean, I don't notice any difference between like your socialism when you were drunk and when you're sober. Like you're just as social, if not more, now that you're sober.
Right. Yeah, I think being sober forced me to learn to be social
Yeah.
and be more outgoing.
And be more confident in yourself too. Like it's given your
Yes.
confidence back to you. And like think
Mhm.
about like when you drink a lot and then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh God, what did I say last night?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, what did I say? What did I do?
yeah.
Yeah, what does the
Sometimes it's
kitchen
just
look like?
not
Because I
worth
probably
it.
tore it up
Yeah.
eating when I got home.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Or waking up at 3 AM with the spins,
Oh,
like,
Checking
ugh.
your card to see how much money you spent on alcohol or, like, on DoorDash,
Oh,
like.
I was yeah. Yes, and my hangovers got to the point, like, it was, like, day 3 or 4 before I felt normal.
right. Yeah,
And
no.
I would in the day 1, like, you can ask Dylan, I would just lay in bed and cry. I'm like,
Yeah.
"I can't feel this way," like, but
Oh.
then it would all start over, like, the weekend would hit and they'd be like,
You'd be like,
"We're
it's time
back,
to
baby."
drink. Yeah.
Yeah, especially, like, during football season or, like, the winter months.
Oh, yeah.
Like, sometimes on the weekend, like,
Mhm.
it's like, you're snowed in, like, let's drink 5 bottles of wine. Like,
Ugh.
like,
Mhm.
it was just those type of things that just really added up.
Yeah, definitely. So you said now you're a little over 10 months not drinking, and then obviously you started kind of changing your diet
Mhm.
and everything you said since January. So do you want to kind of give us an update on where you're at with obviously that journey if you don't mind? If you don't want to, that's fine, but just kind of where you're at, I guess mindset wise or
Yeah.
physically, routine, like what are you doing every day? Like how are you, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
so I'm no longer pre-diabetic, which is sick. Um,
Yeah. Huge
yeah.
milestone in
Yeah,
itself.
and a couple weeks ago I hit 60 pounds. I've lost 60 pounds. Um,
Wow.
so I think that alone has completely changed my mindset. Like even just giving up alcohol, like I feel like I have so much more mental clarity. It's kind of insane, really.
Yeah.
Um,
And like you're finding your confidence, like you said, like you just like rattled off two huge milestones, and you're able to actually like with a non-clouded brain like congratulate yourself and be
yeah,
happy for yourself and have
yeah.
confidence. Like you don't need alcohol. Like we were just saying, every girl's gone down that path where you need alcohol to feel
Mhm.
confident. And honestly, were you confident
No.
then? Like, with
No.
alcohol?
It was
No.
just a mask. A temporary
Yeah.
mask of the night because I would always wake up feeling like the old shitbag I was before I felt before I started drinking the night before. So it was just a temporary fix that never actually fixed it.
Yeah. And Stick, you look
Um,
so good physically, but I would say just like your mental and emotional growth has amazed me a lot too. Like
yeah.
beyond, I mean,
Mhm.
I know everybody's like obviously it's amazing that you lost weight and like you look so good, but I think a lot of
Mhm.
people put a lot of weight on that, but
Yeah,
just
and
so
that wasn't I mean, it was one of my goals to lose weight, but it wasn't my main goal.
no, it was just to get healthy
Mhm.
and your
Yes.
mental health too. It's helped your mental
Yes.
health, I think, so much.
So much. Like the
Yeah.
way I view myself now is
Yeah.
a flipped switch. Like I don't look in the mirror and I don't pick out 12 things that I hate about myself.
Right.
Like I genuinely look in the mirror now and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh wow.
I'm
Like
good looking.
I do
Who
look
is
good from
this?
this angle."
Now when you're in pictures, are you like, "Get out of my
Yeah, I'm
way,
like,
Let
bitches.
me
"Excuse me,
stand in
I'm in the
front.
middle."
Excuse me, why are you trying to cover
Yeah,
half
right?
my
Like,
body?"
let it hang, let it show, baby.
No, that's awesome. What's like one piece of advice or what's something that you would tell somebody that is kind of wanting to start down this journey, whether it's, diet, getting back to the gym or quitting alcohol or just simply maybe going to counseling to work on their mental health? Like what advice would have you liked to have heard or what did you hear during this journey or what would you give
Um,
them?
I think I would first off start if I had to give someone advice, I would say you don't need permission from anyone to change. Like you don't need a
Mhm.
certain date. Like, sure, I started on New Year's Eve, on New Year's Day, but you don't need to hit like a milestone date and be like, now I'm gonna change. It's new year, new me. Like if it could be the middle of July, just do it. Like and you don't need it to get to a bad enough point to change. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I did get to a bad point, but it doesn't have to come to that. Like if you just simply want to quit drinking or start a different routine, try a new workout class, like you don't need a reason other than you want to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it, you know? Um,
And would you say like the only like for me, I think the hardest part, everybody says, like you said, like January 1st, like new year,
mhm,
new me. But at the same time, like if you put those restrictions or those chains on yourself, like you will
right,
fail. Like if you're pressuring yourself and kind of like what you're saying, if you aren't mentally to that point of being like, I am going to do this and I'm going to do it for myself, like you're always going to
right.
fail if you're just applying that pressure. Like I have to look a certain way. I have to lose this amount of weight by
Yeah,
this
don't
date.
put a
Like,
timeline on your goals. You can have goals, but don't say, "Oh, I
mhm.
want to achieve this by this date in 30 days." Like cuz it's not
Yeah.
realistic for everyone. Everyone is different and their body responds differently, their brain responds differently. And I think that was a huge thing for me too is I didn't put a timeline on where I wanted to be by a certain time. I wasn't like, oh, so and so's getting married in 9 months. I want to look like this for their wedding. Like, there was none of that.
Yeah.
It was just, I just put my head down and focused on myself. Because I mean, I did kind of start in like the darkest, coldest days of winter in January and February. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like
Sure.
it was, I woke up to sunny days and I was like, another day, another dollar. Time to get after it.
Yeah, you didn't wake up to sunny days where it's like the sun's at like right now,
Right.
right? Like we're going to fall and it's like perfect time to be outside and go on a walk and do that. Like you started in the days where it's like how like what is this going to look like? What do I do? Like I can't go outside. Like you can, but it's freezing and everybody's at home like snuggled up in their bed with their blankets and watching Netflix or movies and drinking
Yeah.
and eating and it's like you had to like you said put your head down and put your blinders on and do it for
Yeah, I
yourself.
really had to put my blinders on. But I mean, at the same time, like I said, with all the support I had, I mean, even on days that I was like, fuck this, like, I'm not going to keep doing this. Like, there was always something that would pop up and remind me, like, no, bitch, you are going to do this. Like, you're not going to give up. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's somehow all aligned for me. It all worked out.
You right. I idolize you.
Oh, stop it.
I really do. Like, I mean, we
No,
talked about it.
I think it's not easy to just quit things cold
No.
turkey, and it's not easy to just make the changes overnight. And no matter like
Yeah.
what the situation is, even if it was like because you were scared for your health, like even if it
Yeah.
took that to kick you in the butt, it's still a lot of people still don't do it. So
And I think that's the hardest part is like when you are at such a low mental point and then on top of it you do hear something from the doctor that confirms like how you're feeling, like it's so hard to dig yourself out of that. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that you did that, like, yeah, obviously you had a great support system, but at the end of the day, you aren't going to be able to do it unless you want to do it, kind of like what we're
Right.
talking about. And because it's only you every day waking up and choosing to live that
Yeah.
lifestyle. It doesn't matter, you know, Avery's not there holding your hand, I'm not there
Mhm.
holding your hand, Dylan's not there slapping a beer out of
Right.
your hand. You know, I hope as your partner he's kind of trying to be on the same wavelength
Oh,
as
yeah.
you, but obviously he's still
Yeah.
drinking, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I commend you for that, and there's not a lot of people that can do it, and I mean,
keep up the good work.
Thanks,
congrats.
pals.
Keep up the
Yeah.
good work.
Appreciate it.
5
Yeah.
gold stars from me.
Yeah.
We love
Thank
you.
you. Oh.
Now let's talk about how I beat you in fantasy football, shall we?
Oh.
And swerve.
Now
Yeah.
sits mentally in the dumps again.
Burn.
Yeah.
Oh, what a transition. Yeah.
So
You know, I'll admit Avery did beat me in fantasy.
yeah, I
Um,
did.
You know, I took a risk and put Sam
Uh-oh.
Darnold in over Patrick Mahomes.
Not Sam Darnold.
And
Hey, he's been playing
he's been
good
playing
up
good,
until
and he
last
chose
week.
week 5 that I started him not to play good. So my risks did not reap any benefits
Yeah. No.
whatsoever.
Zilch.
That's why you're in the no money leagues, huh,
Yeah.
Stick?
Yeah,
You're a
that's why we like
gambler.
to take
It is
risks.
a money league.
This one,
It is a
It
money.
is a money league.
Mhm.
Oh, how much is on the
I think
line?
it's
$50 a person, which can add up to some coin. When what do we have? 12 people in the league?
A
14?
lot. I don't know.
my
Maybe
God.
14.
Let me ask Dylan because he won last year. What?
Ugh,
Whoa.
he's gross.
That's the league he paid attention to.
Yeah, because if there's money involved, he'll pay attention. Abe, how did you fare out? I know you beat me in our league, but
Yeah, in my Yahoo league, I was just checking that. I'm 99% sure I lost that one. But I had Sam Darnold in that league, so
yeah, I think he scored me 4 fantasy points. So
yeah, literally 4 for me too.
Yeah. Well,
So,
obviously it's the same person.
yep, I lost real bad. No, but the ESPN is like it's not a PPR league.
Oh yeah,
so
so the
it's
points
janky. The points are-
quarterbacks kind of don't really count in if it's not a PPR league. I mean they count, but like you're more focused on receivers and running backs and shit.
right.
What does PPR
Points
mean?
per reception.
Yep.
Thank you. Just asking for those listening that
Oh,
didn't know, you know.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
I
yeah,
knew, I knew it.
I figured you
Oh,
knew.
right.
Yeah. Adds up. I also went 1-1 this week in both my leagues. I won the other one.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good. At least you did
Yeah.
that. I was just glad to beat you because we're pretty competitive, so that made my night. It made my whole week.
My opportunity will come back around. We'll get each other again. So
Yeah. Well,
stay
be
tuned.
ready this time.
Do you want to go into the recaps and predictions?
Yeah, let's do it because my favorite game was the Bucks versus the Falcons because it's Avery's number 1 and number 3 NFL players faced off.
Well, yeah, and Kirk rose above.
He rose
but
above.
I mean, he still got it.
Oh, he's
People better not count him out.
100% still got it. The man threw for 509 yards.
He's awesome.
Granted, they went into overtime, but he threw for 509 yards and 4 touchdowns.
You know,
Wow.
and Baker looked good too.
He did. Baker didn't look bad.
It was just a true battle of the best.
2 quarterbacks.
So.
I mean, they were both throwing tutties the whole time, so.
Yeah, it was a very offensive game. And oh, what was I gonna say? Hold on, pregnancy brain.
I wouldn't
Hold
expect anything less out of Baker touchdown
That's right.
maker.
Right. Oh, I did a $5 pick'em.
Oh yeah,
this week
how'd you
for this
fare?
week. Not good.
Yeah,
Not very well at all.
you got the first
so.
game wrong.
Yeah, immediately I didn't finish it because I was too tired. I woke up the next day to look, and I'm like,
That was the first thing I looked at too.
The Bucks
I
won.
was like, who did Avery pick?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw up. Why does this happen to me?
Did you get any of them right? You had to get some right.
Oh yeah, I did, but like some of the games really like I chose the Steelers, they lost.
Oh yeah.
I chose the
You
Colts,
chose the Bills
they
too,
lost.
didn't you? No, you chose the Texans. That's what I noticed. I was like,
I chose the Texans. I chose the Bills on this podcast, and then I was like, I don't know.
yeah, well, your
And
gut
I
was right.
changed it. Yeah. Unfortunately for you and Dylan, especially.
Yeah, tough again. Jets Vikings. The Vikings won 23-17 and Rodgers went 29 for 54 with 3 interceptions and he was sacked 3 times. Yeah.
And the Jets coach got the can.
Robert Saleh got fired this morning.
And a fan went famous for her boobs.
At the game?
Oh, yes, a Vikings fan.
Oh, did she
A
flash the
Vikings
crew or
fan.
what?
No, she was dressed up as a Viking. Like she had braids in her hair and she had a lot of cleavage, and now it's popping up everywhere on my social media.
Did you also see those 2, I forget who they were. I think it was number 24 and 44 Vikings players. They did the Parent Trap handshake.
I did see that. I did. I liked it.
Yeah, because
I
they were in
appreciated it.
London.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool.
I did love that.
It
I
was
watched
cool.
the video like 5 times. I was like, this is legendary.
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen on television. Yeah.
Especially for a London game.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not shocked. I knew the Vikings were going to win that, so.
Yeah, Vikings are looking nice.
Okay.
Even with Sam Darnold not playing his best.
Yeah,
Still
right.
pulled it off.
Yep.
Dolphins Patriots 15-10 Dolphins.
Yeah, that's
another terrible
That's a
score, another
game.
terrible game. The Dolphins did score late and picked up the sloppy win, so
I had the Patriots winning that.
I did
Let's
too.
move
I
on.
had the Patriots as well.
I don't even want to discuss it anymore.
Moving
Who's
on.
next?
Panthers versus Bears, Ave. Bears 36-10.
Yeah, because if we can't beat them, we should just retire.
Yeah,
the whole team.
you really should. But
yeah,
Caleb was acting like it was like they were playing so well, and then I asked him, I was like, "Oh, who are they playing?" He's like, "The Panthers." I'm like, "Are they good?" He's like, "No."
Dad
was
was
like,
too.
okay.
Dad's like, I see some really promising things. I said against the Panthers.
Caleb Williams
Dad.
did
like
have his best looking performance to date.
probably because the Panthers have the worst defense, but
Well,
yeah, I agree.
To each their own. He still looked decent.
We'll take it. I mean, definitely. I try not to get my hopes up. I try to keep my expectations.
Just put it in the books, baby. Put it in the books.
Yeah,
That's how I feel with you, Avery.
Yeah,
true. Fair.
Colts versus Jags. 37-34 Jags.
Yeah, that was
Stupid, but Jags picked up their first win, and it was Trevor Lawrence's birthday.
Yeah. Oh well, good for him. Happy birthday, Trevor
Got
Lawrence.
a dub on his B-Day. What more could he ask for? Bills versus Texans. 23-20 Texans.
Uh-oh.
Still a sore subject in the England
Uh-oh, Stick.
household. Yeah, the
Ugh.
Texans had a walk-off field goal, 59-yard field goal to win the game.
That was tough for you.
That's brutal.
Yeah, Dylan literally, the game was over. He went upstairs, started rewatching the game. So
And rewinding
Did he
things.
take off one of his jerseys?
no, this is disgusting. But he's off this week and he wore his Bills sweatshirt jersey until today.
Like slept in it and woke up in it and slept in it and woke.
Yep. Didn't take it off.
That's a true fan. They better win this week.
I said, do we plan on changing our clothes? Like taking a shower?
He's just going. He's going through it. Okay,
He
it
was
was a
in the
tough
trenches
loss.
for sure.
Poor guy.
But who knows? We got the Jets on Monday Night Football, and they clearly have some issues over in New Jersey. So we'll see. Ravens versus Bengals. 41-38 Ravens and an overtime thriller. A lot of
It was
It was a
good.
great game. A lot of overtime this week.
Yeah.
The Bengals fall to 1-4 though.
Yeah, not looking so hot for Cool Joe.
Yeah, Cool Joe is heated.
Yeah.
Cool Joe's not so cool no mo.
No.
Did you see Derrick Henry's 51-yard run at the end to get on the Bengals 6-yard line?
Oh yeah.
That's what clinched
He's
him.
still King Henry, baby.
That's what clinched him because then they kicked a field goal in overtime to win it.
That was sick.
That was sick. That was a fun game to watch, really. Browns versus Commanders. 34-13 Commanders. We love to see it.
Commanders are sneaky good,
yeah,
huh?
we love to see it. I mean, they played the fucking Browns, but
No, but they whooped whoever they played last week too. I can't even remember. I think that quarterback is actually a lot better than people predicted.
Daniels.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's the Commanders are 4-1 for the first time since 2008.
Right? Like I think everyone counted them out because they've just always been so bad.
They did.
but
I think was it
This
last year?
might be the
Was
comeback.
it last year they fired their head coach?
Ooh, I don't know.
I want to say it was. I think it was last year they fired their head coach. But
Well.
I'm not sure who their head coach is now, but something's working over
Yeah,
in Washington. Washington, as my dad would say. Raiders versus Broncos. 34-18 Broncos.
Yeah, wow.
Did you see
Weird.
Pat had a 100-yard interception return for a touchdown?
I did.
100 yards.
That was awesome.
That was crazy. And the Broncos scored 34 unanswered points after falling behind in the first quarter.
Yeah. That was crazy. Pretty sure I had them losing too, so that was cool.
That's even crazier.
Yeah. It's wild.
Cardinals versus 49ers. 23-24 Cardinals.
Cardinals. This week was really
The
jacked
NFL was
up
off
because,
their rocker this week.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit was
No.
happening.
Yeah.
Let's see. Giants versus Seahawks. 29-20 Giants.
I mean, I had the Giants actually.
I know you did, but the Seahawks were definitely favored to win.
Yeah, but I don't think the Seahawks. I don't think they're anything special this year.
Yeah.
I don't. I think they're totally beatable, obviously. And so
that one guy, what was his last name? Wheaton. He returned a blocked field goal, 60 yards for a touchdown.
Yep, I saw that too. Yep.
Another wild play.
Yep. There's a lot.
There
of
was
that.
a lot of plays we don't see as often. Packers versus Rams. 29-19 Packers.
Yeah, of course.
You have Kraft on your fantasy league, don't you, Ave?
I sure do. And I picked him up this week because my tight end was on a bye
Really?
week.
He had himself a day.
It was a good pickup for me.
Yes, it was. What did he get you? It was over 20 fantasy points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it was like 21 or 22. And then who's the running back for the Packers?
Oh, I'm not sure. Did you have him on your fantasy team too?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, sorry. I'm just looking stuff up.
Mo,
right
you're a
now.
little quiet. Do you have any NFL input?
The NFL input I have is keep my husband entertained. It allows me to read my books and do my own thing.
A win-win.
Josh Jacobs.
Oh, Jacobs, yeah.
Because he got 15 points in our ESPN league too. So that was
Love
pretty
that for you.
Thank you. Okay, we can move on.
What'd you say?
Okay, we
Oh,
can
I
move
thought
on.
you were thought you were spitting fighting words.
No, not yet.
Cowboys versus Steelers, 2017 Cowboys.
Yeah, see, didn't see that coming
No,
either.
Prescott
so.
threw a touchdown pass, 20 seconds left.
Yeah,
If
it was
my
gross.
audio didn't cut out in the last episode, I did pick Cowboys. Just so
You
everybody
did.
knows.
You did.
You've been 2 weeks
kind of
strong
good.
now picking Cowboys though.
What can I say? I love America's team.
Quit.
Puke.
Stop it.
Puke. I
We'll
I
cut that
honestly didn't stay up for this game.
I won't because I'm the one who edits. You
I
watched
could
it.
not stay up for this game. They had like what, a 2-hour rain delay?
I didn't make
That's
it
too
either.
much on already a Sunday night game.
I just watched highlights
Yeah.
on it the next day.
There's no chance.
Too tired.
It started at like 9 o'clock.
Right,
was
right.
well
And last night's game was nothing to write home about either.
the Saints versus Chiefs.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, 26-13 Chiefs.
Yeah. Go
Chiefs and
Figs.
Vikings are the only two undefeated teams left.
I was just gonna say that Shane's really got that claim to fame going on right
yeah,
now.
well, don't get too cocky.
He has to
Shane.
rub it in. Yeah, it could all go south real fast. You never know.
Could get you. I would like to say too, it wasn't for the Bucks Falcons game. It wasn't even halftime. And I receive a text message from Avery that says, "Eat Baker's dust."
I thought you were gonna say dick.
Oh, that too. Anything you'd like to say
We'll
about
keep it
that
PG.
that bold text, Dave?
I always speak too
Mhm.
soon. But you should eat his dust because he's still got a lot of fantasy points and he still was one of the reasons I beat you. So
What, you got Baker on your
I
team?
mean, yeah, Baker's my quarterback, dude.
Really?
Yes, that's why I told you that.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that.
Jeez.
But I mean,
Yeah, Baker's my quarterback. He got over 20 points for me.
oh yeah, he got 23 points. Now I remember.
Yeah, so you still could eat his dust if you'd
Well,
like.
I mean, I could. But just another Aves getting a little cocky moment, talking shit.
But not. Yeah, it was too early maybe, but I still did end up beating you.
Yeah, but Baker lost.
Luckily. Well, true, but it didn't
Baker's
matter. He
dust ain't
still
gonna
showed up
taste
for
that good
me.
with a loss.
He was in my corner still. So
All right, well,
love him.
let's just chalk it up to Avery gets the all around W this week.
All right, next week's predictions.
Looks like Thursday night football, we have 49ers versus Seahawks. That's a toss up.
49ers.
Yeah, I was going to go 49ers as well. We'll see though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then Sunday we kick it off because the Jags are still in fucking London
The Bears.
versus the Bears. Yeah, so we have another 8:30 a.m. game ahead of us on Sunday.
I'm going to go Bears.
I'm going Bears too, but Trevor Lawrence is kind of coming off of a high.
But so are the Bears. So
Yeah. I don't know. Caleb Williams, I could see his high getting squashed by Trevor Lawrence.
hell no.
We'll see.
Why? Has Trevor Lawrence stomped on your boy's heart or something?
Josh Allen's? No, baby.
Yeah. Well, then he ain't stopping on my boy's heart, so.
A little easier to stomp on Caleb's heart than Josh's.
I don't know. Josh is a squirrely squirrel.
He has not been his best the past 2 weeks. He played awful last week.
Squirrely.
Yeah.
I said, there
Too
he
many-
goes. There he
Too
goes
many smelling
again.
salts, I think.
Yeah, something. Something.
Did you see him go down though? Did you see the play that he smacked his head?
Yes. I was like, oh my God.
He literally went to the sideline,
Ooh.
went in the blue tent for like 5 minutes, came back out, did smelling salts, went in for the next play.
That is sketchy. Yeah, I hated
Yeah.
that.
That's our boy Josh, though.
Better risk his life, his mental
For a Super Bowl.
health.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is the year. Okay, next.
Bucks versus Saints. Derek Carr is out. He suffered an oblique injury.
Bucks. All right, I didn't know that. So Bucks
Yeah,
anyway.
so it happened late in the game last night. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna go Bucks too, because Baker.
Right.
Cardinals versus Packers.
Ooh,
It's kind of a tough one.
that is for some reason. I'm gonna go Packers
I
still.
think I'm gonna go Cardinals.
All right.
Colts Titans. A nooner game.
Titans.
I'm gonna go Titans too. Eagles versus the Browns.
Eagles.
I'm gonna go Eagles too, simply because everyone knows how I feel about Deshaun Watson.
Same. Hate him.
But I mean, both teams not looking great.
No, it's not.
Then we have
The Eagles are coming off a bye week though, yeah.
yes. Yes.
So I think it's theirs. They're
They
gonna
had
win.
some good time to rest up for a good beat down.
Yep.
Then we have Texans versus Patriots.
Texans.
All the way.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see Diggs's comments though after the Texans Bills game?
No.
Your dog's comment
Yeah.
stick?
We put him on the mic.
Yes.
Mm. Mm.
What did he say?
He was just saying how
bashing?
like beating the Bills like meant a lot to him and like just saying a lot of dumb shit. Like he was the one that wanted out. He wanted out from the
Yeah.
Bills. The Bills don't owe him shit.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
shut up.
All right.
Went from naming my dog after the man to can't stand listening to him talk. So
Uh-oh.
yeah. Tough.
How are you gonna feel when Josh Allen leaves
It's
the
not
Bills?
gonna happen.
Oh, babe. It will one day.
That's when I give up on the NFL.
Oh God. No, you gotta
I'm
stay a
gonna write
Bills fan,
Roger an
for better
email.
or for worse. You can't jump ship. Okay.
Who do we have next? Commanders Ravens. That'll be a good game.
Ooh.
I like that.
I want to go Commanders. I want
I
Commanders.
want Commanders to win too. But
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go with
yeah,
them.
me too.
It might not be realistic, but that's what I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say.
who I want to win. Will it happen? I don't know. The Ravens are kind of like they're hot, then they're not. They're hot, then they're not.
Oh, so
Yeah.
unpredictable.
We'll see
Yeah.
what kind of mood old Lamar's in on Sunday.
Lamar.
Jackson. Next up, starting off the 3:00 games, we have Chargers versus Broncos. Wow, is this a tough one for you?
Yeah, how about you?
I think I'm gonna go Chargers.
All right, I'll go Broncos.
Okay. A little competition there.
Yep.
Steelers versus Raiders.
Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going Steelers too.
Yeah.
Love TJ Watt.
Uh-huh.
Love him.
Yeah.
Falcons versus Panthers.
Falcons.
Yeah. Yeah, if the Falcons don't win, then Kirk needs to look in the mirror. Just kidding, I
No,
love
he's
him.
fine. He'll do it.
I'll look.
Yeah,
I love him.
come on.
You can't hate Kirk Cousins.
No, you can't.
Like if
you
you
do,
you hate
you
yourself.
have issues. Yeah. Yeah.
Kirk's a
I
good
agree.
man.
Wholesome.
Great family.
Yeah. Good dude.
The last 3:00 game, we have our man Dan Lions versus the Cowboys.
Oh, you know you gotta go with your man
Yeah,
Dan.
I'll never
Lions.
doubt that man.
No, he's my number 2.
He's got my full dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, Lions for show.
Yes. Bengals Giants for Sunday Night Football.
Oh,
Yeah,
gross.
what a terrible primetime game.
I want the Giants because Joe Burrow can kiss my butt.
Ooh. I
Yeah.
bet he'd want to.
Yeah, I know. And I'd be like, I don't do frosted
Denied.
tips. I'm not into that.
I'm not into the frosted tip vibe.
No.
And it's not like he pulls it off by like,
Who's the
you
Monday
know who
night?
the Monday night is.
Bills.
Jets.
Hold on. Oh, Bills Jets. You
Yeah.
already said it. Okay, I will go Bills on this one. I think that the Jets are going to be a mess. I
Yeah.
mean, they just fired their coach. Aaron Rodgers is looking like all-time trash. And honestly, I would never hope for him to be anyone. So
This is true. We are avid
yeah.
Rodgers dislikers. I
Yeah.
won't say hate because that's a strong word, but it's leaning that way.
Yeah.
I have the Bills
it's getting there.
too. I hope they can pull it off because the ship is rocking for the Jets. Like things are obviously like it's not going to be repaired in a week.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is probably a good week to have the Jets because if you know it's gonna look kind of bad if the Bills
Yeah,
can't.
it's
Pull
also
it
a
off.
divisional game.
Ooh, I didn't think about that either.
Yeah, tough. Did you know the Bills are technically the only New York team?
Yes, my dad told me that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Fun fact to cap off our NFL Week 6 predictions.
Yeah, and come back here if you want to use our predictions to win money.
Any bets you'd like to place? Just probably go off our advice. I highly suggest it.
I did so well last week.
Avery did really well in her pick'ems. So
Thank you guys for tuning into the episode. If you enjoyed it, please follow the podcast and leave us a review. We do just kind of want to remind you guys your feedback helps us grow and reach more listeners. So we do appreciate your support and we can't wait to share more of great content with you guys next time. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Catch you next time.